Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Good morning to you. It is Coffee Ann time here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday morning. It is March 28th. Is it still raining, Bob?
Is it still raining?
Yes.
The guy next door is building an ark.
Is it okay?
Yes.
So it is still raining. There we go. Cloudy skies and 50 degrees. And that was attorney Bob Lauder. Good morning to you there, Bob.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Nice to have you here with us. And we expect Sue Tessier-McKenzie from the Blackstone Valley Call-in-Times. She'll be joining us momentarily here on the Coffee Ann program. She's getting in her rowboat and getting over here. So there we go. So
This
in the
you won't believe,
meantime, what's that, Bob?
Due to Sue Tessier-McKenzie and the Call Times, I was able to speak like a savant when somebody actually asked me to explain March Madness.
Wow.
Now, I know
why would they ask you?
I have no idea. You can't believe that, there's somebody out there who thought I would know the answer. But the Call Times has been publishing that chart inside.
It's the brackets, Bob.
The brackets? Okay.
The chart.
Okay. I thought it was a chart.
Well, all right.
And it showed the various teams all merged.
That's
and
right.
I was able to cut that out, present it to them. And, these people think that when it comes to sports, I walk on water. It's just amazing.
Wow. You are a good lawyer, so there you go.
Able
You
to
did it
convince
all
them.
with a straight face and
Darn.
right down the line. So you know what we should do, Bob? I mean,
You're going to challenge me to a contest?
You and I should take the day off.
Yeah.
And go to Boston today.
Yeah.
Because the March Madness is at the Garden in Boston. We can watch basketball this afternoon tonight.
My boss won't let me take the day off.
You are the boss, Bob.
I know, but he's a tough.
He's a strict one.
Yeah.
Well, let me talk to him.
Okay, good.
And it's either that or we go down to Providence and we watch hockey, college hockey.
Oh, there wasn't any chart in the paper
Frozen
about
Four
hockey.
is down there. So,
No, nobody asked me about the Frozen Four. That wasn't a chart in the paper.
pick your sport. If you had to choose, hockey or basketball, what would you want to go see?
I don't know. That's an even split. They're both pretty exciting games.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a pro basketball or pro hockey game?
Not a pro in either of them.
Okay. All right.
Basketball when I was in college. Hockey, no, never.
No, okay.
But there's a lot of fighting in hockey, so that's
Well, it
that's
depends. It depends on who's playing. In college, not so much. There's a lot of pushing and shoving, but they wear helmets with cages over their faces, so fighting is kind of ridiculous. I should make that a plan. Well, maybe next winter, and bring it to like a Providence Bruins game, and because I think you'll just be amazed at how fast the game is actually played. For people that have only seen it on TV, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But when you're there in person and how fast it's taking place in front of you, you're just like, I never realized. But this game these guys can skate that fast. It's impressive.
That'd be fun.
So, okay. So mark that for your calendar for next year.
Great.
Okay. So other things going on in the news. Anything you want to say that hasn't already been said about the tragedy in Baltimore, Bob?
Only when I was watching the videos on TV, and you can see the headlights of cars going over the bridge just before the accident. It's amazing that they were able to stop the traffic and not have more people killed by a result of the falling bridge.
I think we got to congratulate then the pilot of the boat who called Mayday.
Yeah, but
We're going to crash, and so they were able to stop them.
Who did he call? I mean, he calls
Harbor Master,
and then they have to relay the call to somebody else, like the state police, or the
or
bridge
who's
authority.
ever put down the I don't know if it's a drawbridge or not, but put down the crossing gates to stop vehicles from getting on the bridge.
Well, I would imagine that's not just one sequence. That's not him just calling one person.
No.
It's 2 or 3 in a row.
Well, it's not.
That was remarkable.
It's not like he's picking up the phone.
Right.
It's get on the radio, and the word goes out to I don't know how many people could have heard it because it was 1:30 in the morning. So how many people are listening? But it reacted at least pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it could have been a lot worse. They did recover 2 bodies. They are still looking for 4 more of these people that were. You know what they were doing on the bridge?
It said they were repairing potholes.
Potholes. Yeah.
Wait a minute, that's a Rhode Island thing. I didn't know down south they had potholes.
It happens in wherever it snows. It snows in
okay.
Maryland. So yeah, and I'm sure they do that in Rhode Island and Mass and all over. Well, the best time to repair the potholes on a well-traveled road is to do it overnight.
Correct. Yeah.
And you don't affect as many people as you affect as little people as possible. So that's just what they were doing. Is just doing their job and putting the patch out and the coal out onto the road to fix the potholes on the bridge. And this happens.
There was an article on television also that showed that with modern construction on bridges, they build this large bulwark around the stanchions that hold it up to try and protect from collisions such as the one they had there. And when I look at the pictures of things like the Pell Bridge or the Jamestown Bridge, they're constructed in the old-fashioned way without that. I would think we might consider putting those same kind of stanchions around the bulwark of the present bridges. But
You gonna pay for that, Bob?
oh yeah. Well, I was going to be coming to you and asking you because you're the one who at least won $4 in the Powerball. I've never won anything in those games.
Well, it's funny because I went in and I presented my Powerball ticket to the guy behind the counter.
Yeah.
And they put it in their machine, which scans it to tell them if it's actually a winner.
Right.
And so he puts it in and it scans. He goes, "This is a $4 winner." I said, "Yes, it is." And then I put my gallon of milk up on the counter and I said, "I'll take 1 gallon of milk." And they rung it up and then they'll say, "That'll be 19 cents for me."
Now, you're a trusting guy because if it had come up and said it was a several $1 million and the clerk had a straight face and said, you get $4 and I'll keep the ticket.
Well, I would have, if I knew it was a several $1 million ticket, you don't bring it back to the store.
How do you know?
Oh, that's in the rules.
No, but
the store can't give you $1 million. You have to go to lottery headquarters.
Right.
And in my case, that would be in Braintree.
Okay.
And that you better sign the back of the ticket, and you present it to them, and they'll scan it, and they'll say yes, we'll use $1 million as an even number, and then they can cut you a check. No one's handing you $100 bills. Same thing in Rhode Island, by the way. Lottery headquarters is in Cranston. So I think the limit at the store is 500. It may be less than that. Maybe it's only 100. I mean, how much cash do they have on hand?
I don't know.
It's not like they can't give you everything. So
I've never won anything, so I don't know. I never had
the stores can only give you so much money, and then after that, you have to go to lottery headquarters for your winnings. And I'm sure they could scan it, and then they would tell you that we can't give you your $1 million, sir.
Now, did anyone win the big one for last night?
Yeah. Well, the Mega Millions was Tuesday night.
No, this Tuesday night was the $1 billion one. Then last night was in the
it was Powerball last night. I didn't play.
billion.
I didn't play that one, so I haven't heard of that one. So that one. So I only wait for it gets to $1 billion, and then I stop playing.
Oh, okay.
You want to get the big money,
right?
Because I saw that because someone won it down in New Jersey for the Mega Millions, and they won the $1 million. It was one ticket. I don't know how many people actually won, but the new jackpot is only $20 million. I mean, why bother?
Good morning.
Only 20
It's only $20 million.
That's the way you look coming in is $20 million. Wow.
That's Sue Tesser McKenzie, everybody.
Yes, in a black outfit with black and yellow and
yellow.
Great jewelry. Wow.
Thank you.
So I was actually now I'm mad at the Mega Millions people. And
Why is that?
And this is why.
Yes,
Because
I got it here.
because on one row of numbers, I got 2 correct numbers.
Great.
I'm like, I should win at least $4.
Yeah.
So I go look at how it pays out. All right. So if you get all 5 numbers and not the Mega Million and not the Mega Million ball,
right,
you win some money.
Right.
You can get 4 numbers and not the Mega Million and win some money.
Okay.
You can get 3 balls and not the Mega Millions and win some money. But can you get 2 and not the Mega Million ball? No. It skips over that. It goes from 3 down to 1 and the Mega Million ball.
Oh.
And it's a $4 win. Not that it's a lot. They skipped right over me. I can't believe this.
I'm sure you're not alone.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure I'm not.
I've been skipped over many times. I'm not a big, gotta buy a ticket. if I'm in a store, I mean, I'm literally,
Yeah.
I'm that person that says, okay, what drawing is today?
Yeah, what's
And which one has a lot of money?
Yeah,
That's
they'll,
me.
they'll tell you. And
When you talk about skipped over, it's sort of
yeah.
like my dating life in college.
well, sorry about that,
yeah.
Bob. So you had to ask them.
Oh,
See, that's what I use, Sue, as a reminder. There's an old joke where a man prayed to God every day to win the lottery. Please God, let me win the lottery. Please God, let me win the lottery. And he plays every day and he doesn't win. And finally he passes away and he's never won the lottery. And when he gets to heaven, he's upset. And he asks God when he sees him, I prayed every day. I was such a good person. And I prayed every day and I never won the lottery. Mm-hmm. How come? And God replies, you had to meet me halfway. You had to buy a ticket.
Right?
That's right. So back to your dating life, Bob. You had to ask them out.
tell you another story.
All right.
I got a note from a very good friend of mine last week. And the friend said, you know, in the note, she says, I was dreaming about you. And I was thinking, oh, yes, yes. All my life I've wanted to have girls dreaming about me. Something great. And she then wrote on, you were telling me about estate planning. And I'm thinking, that's the best I can come up with in all these years.
That's a sexy dream.
Right?
You know, I've always wanted to have some estate planning.
I hope you were giving her the right information.
I don't know. I just think, Margaret, you know how to really crush a person.
Dagger right in the heart, huh, Bob?
Right.
But how long have you been married, by the way?
It'll be 40 years in September.
And everything's good, right?
I'm
So
very, very lucky.
I think you hit the jackpot there, Bob. So there you go.
Yes.
All right. So, all right. Well, keeping in the sports, former New England Patriot player Malcolm Butler is going to be in district court.
I heard.
He was arrested for DUI.
Oh, jeez.
Over the weekend, he was out
North
on
Providence.
out on 146, blocking lanes with his car, at least according to the police.
Blocking lanes.
Yeah, he was blocking a lane with his car. I don't know if he was stopped. I think it was stopped, but yeah, he refused a field sobriety test. Now, Bob,
Which means nothing.
Yeah, if you refuse to do a field sobriety test, but you can still be charged with DUI, correct?
Yeah, but it's going to be easier to try and defend against DUI if they don't have the evidence from the field sobriety test.
Okay.
And if I recall correctly from years and years ago, the penalties for refusing field sobriety test are less than the penalties for driving while intoxicated. So
it's better to not take it if you're
let me
drunk.
check and get a better answer for you on that for next week. But my recollection from years and years ago, the last time I did one of those, was it was better not to take the test.
Wow. Well, okay.
Yeah, but then you get those people
The
that.
breathalyzer test. I'm sorry, the breathalyzer test.
Well, okay? Then that's
field sobriety test
It's
is when
different.
you
Yeah.
get out of the
Walk
car,
the
they walk,
straight-
and
Yeah, but then you get those people that are so intoxicated they become cocky and decide, I can do this.
I can do that,
I
yeah.
can do this. And they start, because you see them on videos all the time.
Oh yeah,
It's hilarious.
It is pretty funny. And sometimes they even say, "I don't want to get out of the car and do a field sobriety test," and the cop will ask them why, and their answer is because I've been drinking. And it's on the body cam of the police officer.
Right.
So that's great.
Well,
Stupid
The
criminals.
advice I got
Yeah.
from my daughter the last time I was stopped for anything, it was for going through a stop sign, and I was with my daughter,
Yeah.
and as a policeman is coming up to the car window.
Was
my
she in the car with you?
Yeah, she was in the
Okay.
car with me. My daughter says, "Start crying."
That doesn't work for the men.
I know
No,
it doesn't, but it was, there was advice, and
It is advice.
I cried well, first of all, let me just say that I have been pulled over on
More than one occasion.
several occasions, including last week. But the first time, I was just having a bad day. But I refused. It was a statey. You couldn't do this today. I mean, this was going back 35 years. And I refused to look him in the face because I didn't want to be that woman that cried to get out of a ticket. I cried because I just exceeded my max level of what I can tolerate today. And he pulled me over and he said, "Why won't you look at me?" I said, "Because I swore I would never let a police officer see me cry." I did not get a ticket.
Oh, wow.
But I told him straight, I swore I would not let a police officer see me cry. So I did not get a ticket. Last week, didn't get a ticket either. But I found out my car was unregistered.
Oh.
So nicest police officer from Attleboro.
Uh-huh.
And he approached the car and he goes, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" Well, my brain was saying because I flew by you. Mm-hmm. But no, that wasn't why. He said, "Your car's unregistered." And I said, "No, it's not."
Wow.
So I'm going through my glove box.
Oh, I guess
And
it is.
he said, well, first of all, I said, "I just had my license for you. What did I do with my license?" He goes, "I see a temporary license there. I'll even take that. I don't care." So I find my license because it fallen between the seat. Fine. Now he said, "So your car is unregistered as of January." So I'm going through my glove box. He said, "Just let me go check your record. Let me go check, so on and so forth." So he did. He came back, and I said, "Oh, I pull out what I think is my evidence of innocence." And he's like, "Okay, and now you just incriminated yourself." Because it was my stickers from January that expired, that were not on my car, that expired January 24th. And he says, "Okay, I'm going to pretend I didn't see that." Okay.
Oh,
He said, "So now I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm letting you go."
All right.
He goes, "You seem like an honest, nice person."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I'm going to let you go." He goes, "But I recommend you go home, get on your computer, go online, register your car." He said, "But between now and then, you can say that you were just pulled over and given these instructions."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "But if you have a cop that's having a bad day, he can tow your car."
Oh, my gosh, yeah. And that'll cost you money.
He said, "You've proven insurance, you've proven this, so on and so forth." So, but he was so funny when he said, "Yeah, now you just incriminated yourself."
That is funny. Now we got to take you in.
Right.
Well,
Now
I'm glad
we're
they
done.
didn't do that. Oh, that's funny. All right, we're going to take our first break here on the Coffee and program. More coming your way. Comments and questions. Call them in at 766-1240. We got one to get to when we come back.
I got a nice note from Marta at Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse on Social Street in Woonsocket. And she says, "Dear Dave, please tell the people in the audience that Lenten specials are available at Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. The meat-free offerings are the same that you get each year and can't get anywhere else. Also, looking ahead to Easter, traditional Easter soup is white borscht with kielbasa. Hard-boiled egg and horseradish are available in different styles, and baked or smoked ham on the side. You can pre-order by calling ahead of time. Fulfill your table with wooden hand-painted eggs, breaded lamb and butter lamb. Happy Easter from Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse, voted Best Deli and Best Catering in the Blackstone Valley on the Best of the Blackstone Valley contest. Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse, Social Street, Woonsocket.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
Have you heard of Scott McGee with RE/MAX Properties? He's been selling real estate in Rhode Island and Massachusetts for the last 17 years, and you can see that he loves what he does. Scott, as well as his team, take pride in what they call the fair and honest team. No gimmicks. And no, they're not buying your house if it doesn't sell, etc. Just fair and honest real estate. Scott personally works with tons of sellers and buyers and specializes in residential properties as well as commercial, and he's always very fair and offers super competitive rates. Remember, this is probably the biggest move in dollars that you will ever spend or receive. You want to go with a trusted and experienced agent. Scott is fair, honest, and modest, always puts the clients first, and he also dealt with literally almost any situation. You really need to look at your real estate needs as a business. You want to pay and get the right money now so that you're not paying for it later. Trust me. So why not give Scott McGee a call at 401-639-2906. That's 401-639-2906.
It's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Bob Water and Sue Tessier-McKenzie. And Sue, time for your first message from the Blackstone Valley Call and Times.
Good morning. Good morning. As I always say, anybody needs anything, whether you're missing a delivery or you want to start delivery, you're looking for back issues, back subscriptions. Christina, which is the classified person which works in the office, her number is 767-8503. Or you can call me at 487-4136 with spring upon us. We also have some nice home and garden specials. We've got Mother's Day coming. Of course, Easter is this weekend, so a little late for that, but we have a lot of opportunities for advertising in both print and digital markets.
All right there, Sue. Thank you very much. We did get a note that was called in, 766-1240, and it does say to Sue, I don't know if this is an inside joke or what, but it says, to Sue, are you ready to do the Bubble Bee Boogie?
Oh, whoever is said that
Yeah.
must be watching and
Okay.
know
Oh, what you're wearing?
what I'm wearing.
Okay. You know, it's black and white and yellow.
Yep,
So
black,
there you go.
white, and yellow.
There's an actual song called The Bubble Boogie by Bee Bubble and the Stingers based on the flight of the bumblebee.
I shall
That's
have
a
to
pretty
look.
good song,
I
so-
shall have to look that up.
All right, so it's pretty funny. Another note that was called in, a completely different topic. It says, back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, kids were much more dutiful to their parents' suggestions and conditions, whereas kids today are much more independent and want to learn from technology and electronic devices, ignore the parents, and grow up on their own. Their minds are not ready. They are not privy to adult situations and decisions, and that's not good. You need to get nourished from your elders. Agree?
No,
No?
no.
Okay.
I think you need to get nourished from your elders, but I wouldn't say that kids today were less observant of what their parents are suggesting. I think kids today are probably more adventurous in learning new technology, which to parents is kind of confusing and old-fashioned. I mean, learning how to shoe horses when I was a kid was probably,
Very difficult, huh?
well, but just the same, no, I think that you have to learn from your parents. That's true, but you also have to explore the new technologies and learn that way.
All right.
I think it's a combined effort, and
Yeah.
I think it has. Sorry, Bob, you're older than even me. And I think I was talking to somebody about this the other day. And I always reference my son because he is 30 years old, so he's of that generation of the, technology, so on and so forth. However, he will be the first person to say his generation, I won't say the word he uses, but needs to smarten up in the sense of you not only need to hear your parents out. I'm not going to say listen to your parents because I think that's a fine line, and I also think it's generational. But you have to observe outside options. I said to somebody the other day, they said, what is wrong with kids today? Everybody blames the upbringing. It's not the upbringing. You can raise your child in the best way possible, but it's how you behave because that's what they see. So if you raise your child the right way, good schooling and stuff, but you yourself, disrespect other people, or if you, as a parent, you're driving and you're swearing at this driver and you're doing this, okay, just, a small example, your child's in the car seeing everything you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
You call in sick for a job all the time. How do you think your child is going to have work ethics? So it's not just the upbringing and it's not just the learning. It has to be combined. You have to look at all avenues. My kids used to love listening to the grandparents talking about, the war. And they've written reports from grandparents and uncles based on that,
perspectives, yeah.
from their perspective. So I think you can take that, you can learn from that, you can, but then educate yourself in the digital media. Like you said, Bob, it's not so much listen to your parents. That's not the parents tell you what to do. Sometimes you need to learn it for yourself.
I
Okay.
think Sue's answer was better than anything I could think of. That was good.
Well, thank you.
If you ever watch the movie The Breakfast Club, which is about kids having detention on a Saturday, there's a scene in the movie that's between the janitor of the school and the principal who's watching the kids. And the principal is lamenting the fact that kids are worse today and blah blah blah. He's going on and on, and the janitor says, "You're wrong. Kids today are the same as they were 20 years ago. You've changed, and the way you react to the kids, they're the same, and you've changed." And he didn't want to accept that premise.
Now, you
I
had-
said, there's some truth in that.
You've raised 2 kids.
Yes.
Okay, where's your perspective on all of this?
Well, I think my I think my son did a better job of listening to his parents than my daughter did. But I just chalked that up to a male-female thing. And how the girl just always knows everything. Or so she thinks, especially when she's a teenager.
I have one of each too.
Yeah?
My daughter
Okay.
is 35. My son just turned 30. I cannot emphasize enough. They learned from seeing, and I mean, my kids were little, and I would say, "Okay, Mom is going to say bad words," and what you
And
need
you
to
are
do,
not.
and this is when I do that, I'm going to put my hand out, and you're going to hit Mom's hand.
Oh.
That's why
But
you're
then
at
if
advantage?
you do it, yeah, that's why I broke both hands, and I'm only kidding. In other words, if I do it, I get the repercussions.
Yeah.
If you do it, you get the
Same thing.
repercussions.
Okay.
And with certain things like that, and it's like I don't know. My son is a great kid, and I realized this the other day because my son can be a pain in the butt. He's a great kid. He is respectable. He has worked a job. He's only turned 30. He had the same job for 8 years. How was that? At that age, that's like unheard of. But when other people say, you always wonder, did I do a good job? But when other people comment on your son being respectful, and your daughter being
Yeah.
responsible, respectful, polite, courteous, you did something right.
Yeah.
But it was all about what he saw. That's what they saw. Opening the door for somebody is a simple thing,
Yep.
but they see it. And hopefully my grandchildren are the same way.
All right. Well, very good. Let's see. Moving on to other things that are going on. The House Judiciary Committee here in Rhode Island took testimony on legislation that would end Rhode Island's tipped minimum wage. Is it time to get rid of the tipped minimum wage? Now, waiters and waitresses in Rhode Island make less money. The tip workers' base wage, they want to raise it from $3.89 an hour up to $15 by the year 2030. But if we get rid of the tip minimum wage, can we get rid of tipping?
Well, of course, that's the first thing you think of, but that answer would be an absolute no. But
Okay.
that will definitely, because when I was a server, you're right. You make less money. You relied on your tips.
Right.
But that is going to open up, in my opinion, a different can of worms with what you make. Because part of that is, I want to say the word 1099 because you have to claim your tips.
Your tips.
Now your tips are based on typically the bill, like a 15% of the bill. So if one person only tips you 10% and one tips you 30%, it's still only taxed at 15%. And I'm saying that number, that could have changed because this was a long time ago. So something in that line is going to change.
All right.
Now, explain a little bit more about tipping, if you could. If I leave a tip for the waitress or waiter, does that get split between people like the kitchen staff and the chefs and things
It
like
all
that?
depends. The restaurants I worked in, it did not go to the chef or the kitchen staff.
Okay.
It went to the busboy
Busboys, yeah.
and bartender because they also fell under that server minimum wage income. So they also rely on that. I think busboys might have made, a few dollars more because they didn't actually get that 15% of that
Right.
$100 bill. They got a percent of the percent is what ended up happening.
From the experience that you've had, do the people like the waiters and the waitresses and things like that actually, through tips, earn reasonably good pay, or are they still marginalized and not getting as much as they'd get if they got minimum wage?
Well, I would say they make, in some restaurants, again, that also plays a factor, they do very well. Especially some of your, higher end restaurants. I mean, you're looking at, say, a $300 tab with one table, and I'm just using numbers because now if you go out a party of 6 people, you're all of
Automatic.
$300, right? And so now if you did a 10%, it's 30, 20%, it's 60. Sometimes they'll just give you $100 bill because you were so good and attentive to that table. And it's only one table, so you just worked, 5-hour shift. You can make some pretty good money.
Okay.
In terms of this bill, yesterday, the servers and the bartenders spoke out against it and says, no, this is going to affect how much they make.
It's going to affect something. I don't know what.
It's going to go down.
Yeah.
And we don't like it. And restaurant owners, they're against it because now if you're forcing us to pay them more, we're going to have to raise the prices of on the menu items. And they don't want to do that.
It's been a long time since I ate in a diner where you had counter service.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're having counter service,
Same
is
thing.
it still considered around 15% for a tip?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Closer to 20 these days, Bob.
Yeah, well, if you're, take, Missy's, okay? Missy's has both counter and
And
table
table, yeah.
service. So you're still at that counter, you're still doing the service, you're still getting their food, taking their order, you're doing the exact same thing
Okay.
from the counter. Takeout, I try to always tip on takeout. It all depends on, what I have in my pocket at that moment.
See, I don't, 'cause I'm going to go pick it
Well,
up.
I have, but it's not based on your 15 and 20%. It's just a little something to say, hey, thanks for putting my order together. It's
okay.
not, I don't go by the 15, 20%. If I'm standing there and you are physically doing this, that, and the other, or, let me get you there, it's all about going the extra mile.
Okay.
All right, we're going to take a break. More on this is coming up, and more discussion as well. But it's time to take a look at the forecast, and it's being brought to you by Unbound.org.
The National Weather Service has issued a flood watch for the entire day today till tonight due to excessive rains on already soaked grounds. Rain today, patchy fog, high of 51, calm wind. The chance of rain is 90%, and we're looking at 3/4 to 1 inch of rain during the day today. Tonight, more rain, 80% likely, a north wind kicking up, precipitation amounts of another 3/4 of an inch possible. Friday's weather, rain, another 1/4 of an inch, making 2 inches of rain in all. Chance of rain is 60% on Friday. Little or no snow accumulation is expected as the temperature will drop and end as snow. Saturday, sunshine and 52. Sunday, Easter Sunday, mostly sunny with a high of 54. Monday, mostly sunny and 54. Tuesday, rain is likely again, mostly cloudy and 49. And Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies, 46, and rain.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, clouds with rain and 58 degrees. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a nurse. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change the world, and it will change your own at unbound.org.
You've heard it before. The world is getting smaller. Places you had to travel to years ago now seem right next door. It's no surprise, then, that all the communities of the Blackstone Valley have so much in common these days that we share common interests. Keeping up with this trend, the Blackstone Valley's 2 daily newspapers, The Call and The Times, have joined forces to cover the entire valley in one convenient newspaper. The Blackstone Valley's Call and Times, a paper for the entire valley. At your local store, honor box, or home delivery, 767-8522. You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate. Let's check in at Chan's now and find out what's going on entertainment-wise. We already know about the great food, don't we, huh? Yes, of course we do. Well, on Friday the 29th, tomorrow night, Papa Chubby is going to be in. It's $35 ahead of time and $40 at the door. Happy birthday to Papa Chubby, as the incredible guitar wizard pays tribute to his hero, Jimi Hendrix. This show not to be missed at Chan's tomorrow night, the 29th at 8 o'clock. Then on Saturday, Jeff Pitchell and Texas Flood at 8 o'clock. $25 ahead of time and $30 at the door. Jeff Pitchell is one of Chan's audience favorites. So let's keep the party going with Jeff on Saturday. 2 great shows coming up at Chan's, where you can always, of course, have all your karaoke going on Friday nights from 9 to 12. If you like that sort of thing, that Chan's has it for you. And, of course, if you want to take out, 765-1900 delivery, 762-1364. That's Chan's Egg Rolls and Jazz.com on the website. Chan's Fine Oriental Dining, 267 Main Street in Woonsocket. What would you do with $300 in cash? To find out, play the Valley Breeze ON Radio Squares contest all this week, exclusively in the Valley Breeze newspapers and right here on ON AM and FM radio.
We're calling on another Radio Square business right now, and it's DePault's Ace Hardware. DePault's Ace Hardware, that's 5 in a row for you. Give us a call now at 762-1240, and we'll register your line if it's correct, and you can be part of the Survival of the Smartest Championship coming up Saturday morning at 9. It's your chance to win $300. It's DePault's Ace Hardware. This segment of the Coffee and program is sponsored by Attorney Bob Lauder. So, Bob, time for your first message, please.
Good morning. Thank you. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. I'd like to talk to you this morning about 2 cases, one very old and one within my own memory, which illustrate the establishment of the power of courts to review statutes. The first case is Marbury versus Madison, an old chestnut that every law student confronts in first-year constitutional law. Late on the evening of the day before Thomas Jefferson was to be sworn in as the 3rd President of the United States, a clerk in the office, I can't read my own stuff. It's because a clerk in the office of the Secretary of State was signing certificates appointing federal judges, whose appointment had been approved by Congress. He left the office without delivering the certificates, and one of the certificates named Marbury to a judicial post. There was immense friction between the outgoing President, John Adams, and the incoming President, Thomas Jefferson, and Jefferson ordered the certificates not to be delivered to the appointees. Marbury sued James Madison, the Secretary of State, seeking a writ of mandamus, that's an order compelling the delivery of the certificate. The case went to the United States Supreme Court, and there John Marshall, the Chief Justice, established one of the most important precedents in American jurisprudence. Marshall knew that Jefferson would probably defy any order to deliver the certificates, but Marshall also wanted to bring the court to an equal balance of power and authority as that exercised by the executive and the legislative branches of the government. The original jurisdiction was brought under Section 13 of the Judiciary Act of 1789, which gave the court original jurisdiction over such cases against federal officials. Marshall and the court ruled that under the provisions of the Constitution, the Supreme Court had original jurisdiction, and the Judiciary Act of 1789 could not expand that jurisdiction of the court to extend to this type of case. He led the justices in determining that the court has the authority to review statutes and declare them to be unconstitutional. The immediate effect of the judgment was that Jefferson was entitled to withhold the certificates. But the most important part was that it established the power of the United States Supreme Court to review the constitutionality in cases brought before it. The decision was not transformative, but only an articulation. However, it was such a magisterial articulation in terms of so firm and clear that the power of review has never since been legally doubted. If you'd like to discuss legal matters with me, please contact my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer: the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. And the good thing is, I don't read things before the courts. You speak spontaneously. And I'm a little bit better at that.
All right. Very good, Bob. The whole thing with the tip minimum wage bill, in my opinion, leave it the way it is, because you as a person, if you're going to go apply for a job as a waiter or a waitress, you know ahead of time that the hourly wage is this, and you're going to get tips. Are you okay? And if you're okay with that,
That's why
fine.
you're there applying.
If you don't like that setup, then don't apply as a waiter or a waitress and go someplace else.
But I can definitely see where bartenders and or servers would dispute
Yes.
the increase. I can absolutely see it because now you're sitting there saying, okay, hold up. You're making this much per hour, so I don't need to give you 20% anymore.
Right.
We can
That's
bring
exactly
that
how
down.
I'm going to think.
And I can see people doing that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If
Right
the-
now, people that tip well
Yeah.
tip not only because they have good service, but they know that those servers are working hard for their money.
And so when that drink comes to you and it's $10, and I know you're making the minimum wage, you're only getting $10. You're not going to get 15. All right, keep the 5 for yourself.
Keep the 5, right?
That's just, it's not going to happen. 'Cause I'm
I
cheap-
can
'cause
see
I'm
it.
cheap-
I
'cause
can
I'm cheap
see
like
that not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
other things,
cheap?
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay. I never noticed that.
I've had to have my arm
You ever
twisted.
gone out to dinner with him?
He's never invited me.
Oh, well, then,
there you
that's
go.
why you would know if you when you go. I didn't either. Let me make that clear. I haven't either.
We should all go out to
But-
lunch sometime.
I've seen my wife tip at Dunkin' Donuts, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I can see it. I can see that.
Oh, yeah, you're supposed to. Just because there's a tip jar there doesn't mean you have to tip.
No, but I always do.
You know, and this is all right. Here's a psychological thing. Family member was a bartender down at McCoy Stadium during Pawtucket Red Sox seasons, and he would set up his little bar area and he'd get everything ready to go. And the last thing he did was take a couple of dollars out of his
Or
own
throw it
wallet
in his
and put
tip
it in
jar.
the tip jar.
Yep.
So when you come walking up, oh, we're supposed to tip a couple of bucks.
That's common practice.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah,
but
common
it works
practice to do
psychologically.
that.
Okay.
I thought that was a donation you were giving back to the customers. I always take the money out.
Well, yeah, no wonder you've been beat up quite a bit.
Yeah,
This is why
well-
you don't go to sporting events, Bob.
Right?
All right, other things going on. So, and this was, well, you know, someone was thinking down here, and a former employee at Hasbro Children's Hospital was arrested, charged with video voyeurism, stuck a camera in a bathroom. Now,
Staff bathroom, it said.
that's the important part.
Yes.
So if something good's going to come out of this, he didn't put it in where
I
the kids
needed to
are.
put that out there
Oh, yes,
immediately. I didn't give
immediately.
you the chance
I
to
know.
finish.
I was
I
getting to it.
apologize for that.
So
but
it was inside a wall charger. You know, it looks just like that, like the things you plug in the wall. But you can unscrew the plate and put these things in because they're so tiny, and it looks just like a wall charger. But there's a USB camera in there, and that either goes to his computer or his phone or whatever like that. And he put it inside a staff bathroom. So a colleague discovered the camera. On Tuesday, it was removed. Providence Police conducted a sweep of every restroom in the facility. They only found that one, none others. The bathroom in question is locked and used by staff only, so you need a key. So the man was arrested. His name is Jason Baker. He's 47. Was arrested on Wednesday and reportedly admitted to placing the camera. I wonder how they knew it was him, but anyway.
That was what I was going to ask. You know technology more than I do, but if you found a camera in the locked bathroom, how do you determine who put it there and who's getting the video reception from it?
well, we're not tech savvy, but I would imagine it would be. You can get the URL. You can get the wherever it's going.
Yeah. Since it's locked, and it's a staff bathroom, there might be a list of who uses this one.
So now you're doing process
So
of
now
elimination.
we're gonna narrow it down, and I'm gonna be sexist here. We're gonna throw out all the women
right.
and just lead it. Okay, who are the guys that have access to this bathroom? Who has a key to this
But
one?
even so, if every male who had a key to the bathroom said it's not me,
They probably all did.
how do they prove?
Back to what Sue said.
Yeah.
On the camera itself,
Right.
It'll tell you, or someone that knows their
The
IT stuff,
those that are IT, right?
where the video is being sent.
Yeah.
And now they're going to come to you, Bob.
Yeah.
This video is being sent to your phone, and now we've gone to the judge and explain that to him. And now we have a search warrant for your phone. Grab your phone, pull up the videos. Here's the bathroom. Here's someone that works there. Now you're under arrest.
We were talking earlier about kids knowing about technology.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Wow.
I don't know about
Okay.
URLs or things like that.
URLs are websites, for like.
Okay.
But yeah, on these small cameras
Yeah.
that you can get at Best Buy,
Right.
okay, people use them in their homes for
Security.
security.
Right.
So they can stick the little camera on a shelf facing the front door, see if anyone's
Yeah.
breaking in.
Mm-hmm.
They can pull up the video, live video as it's happening, on their phone. But you had to tell the camera, send the images to this phone in particular.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now if the authorities have it, they're going to be able to tell, because they have real tech-savvy people, where
phone
the
it's
video
going to.
it's going to.
It's even like with your phone. Like I get emails on my phone. It goes to my email, but the URL is directed elsewhere. It's for lack of a better explanation. That's what tells you.
Well, I did
My
s-
question has always been when it comes to putting a phone in a bathroom. Why?
Well, it's not a phone.
I mean, a
It's a little
camera.
camera.
Why?
Well, it's,
I mean, what? What? You're in a bathroom. You're not. It's not a dressing room. It's not a fitting room. It's not a changing room. It's not a locker room. It's a bathroom.
well, I guess it depends where the charger is. Is it in a stall, which would be an odd place for a charger?
Well, but the restrooms in Rhode Island Hospital, I cannot confirm those at Hasbro.
Yeah.
But they're separate restrooms. You know, when the amount of time I've spent there, 99% of them are one and done. Only
Yeah.
one person can go in, lock the door. Only one person can
that's
go out.
probably the way it is here too. Okay.
Yeah, even with the staff bathrooms, granted they have keys so that the general public can't get in, but they're all a one and done. So it's not like you have different stalls.
It's
I would imagine there's all kinds of different sexual
there's fetishes.
fetishes.
Fetishes. That's kind of that.
And
But-
maybe if you saw the video, I'm not seeing anything that's gonna excite you. But for this guy, maybe there is.
right.
Either way, you're videotaping someone without their knowledge,
Exactly.
and that is still a crime in Rhode Island, isn't it, Bob? Because that's what he's
I
charged
would
with,
think under
video
these
voyeurism.
circumstances,
Oh
yeah.
no, I know he's in trouble. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, what possesses a person to put a camera in the bathroom? That's what I'm saying.
Everybody's got their own
Yeah,
things going on.
okay,
This investigation is continuing, and they do expect more charges to be applied. Maybe it's like per person.
Well, now,
That's
yeah,
in the
usually,
video.
yeah,
Okay, now it's
that's
got
what
this
I
person, now
heard.
it's got this person, now it's got this person.
But now, when they do that, like you said, they have to get the search warrant for the phone, and so once they find things on the phone, doesn't that justify a search warrant for the house to see what
I
he's
would
got
believe
there?
so, yes.
Yeah, because he might have downloaded the stuff and
Right.
sent it
There
out
may be
to
a
who
whole
knows
lot
where.
more. Right.
Right.
When you're
Alrighty.
talking about the security cameras, though, in that incident where there was the arson outside and inside that church in Providence that had the predominantly African, the pastor of the church was in a airline terminal, I think in North or South Carolina, when
And he
the
was watching
images
The alert
of
went.
the alert went to him
Yeah.
of the perpetrator of the arson. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Sometimes technology works wonders.
Wow, yes.
All right, we have to take another break here in the Coffee and program, so it's time for a second message from Attorney Bob Lauder.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. The second case I'd like to discuss with you this morning may have some pertinence to our present political situation. It's the case of the United States versus Nixon, and arose as a result of the famous Watergate tapes. President Nixon had installed tape recorders in his office in the White House, and it was there that he discussed with some of his aides his ideas on how to cover up the involvement of his re-election campaign committee in the burglarization of the Democratic National Headquarters located in the Watergate complex in Washington. After his re-election, a federal prosecutor had been appointed by the Democratic-led Congress to investigate, and a special counsel subpoenaed tapes from the president. After he was served, the president moved to quash the subpoena, claiming that his conversations with his advisors was privileged, and the doctrine of separation of powers precluded judicial review of his privilege claim. The Supreme Court recognized that there may be a presumption of privilege for presidential communications based on the expectation of a president to confidentiality. But the presumptive privilege is only a qualified one. A claim of privilege based only on the generalization interest of the confidentiality cannot prevail over demonstrated specific need for evidence in a pending criminal trial. The Nixon case rejected the claim of absolute immunity on the president based on the separation of powers. It is for the courts to say what the law is in any case involving the legality of claims relating to the exercise of power by the executive and the legislative branches. If you'd like to discuss legal matters with me, please contact my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob, thanks. And the Coffee and program will continue right here on ON Radio.
As we ease into spring, Barky the seal is still hibernating. We will hear from him later. But Lance at Interstate Seal Coating is wide awake and ready to install a new driveway for you this year. Lance will give you a free estimate on seal coating, crack filling, and parking lot striping. Interstate Seal Coating won a gold medal for Best Paving Asphalt Seal Coating in the Best of the Blackstone Valley contest. Call Lance at Interstate Seal Coating, 401-349-9360. 349-9360. Call today and he'll seal you tomorrow.
Here's what's coming up next. Greatest Hits USA.
Hey, this is Chuck Matthews on Greatest Hits USA. And coming up this weekend, we are going to answer the following questions. What singer had chronic stage fright? Who had trouble singing a new song? And who had the #1 record this week in 1973? Find out. Turn it up this weekend right here.
Greatest Hits USA.
All right, it is Coffee and here on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here. Sorry I had to cut Sue off there, but we can't
Good
talk
thing
about
you
what
did.
Sue was talking about on the air. Sue Tesser McKenzie, Bob Lauder is here. On to other things away from the guy that was arrested at the Hasbro Children's Hospital. All right, new research reveals most Americans now believe marijuana should be legal. 88%. That's pretty high.
That is high.
No pun intended. Yeah, thank you. I'll be here all week. 88% of Americans think cannabis should be legal for recreational or medicinal use. Well, nearly 6 out of 10 believe it should be legal for both uses. Around 3 out of 10 think it should be only legal for medical purposes. So but that's pretty high.
That
We'll have
is,
to see
I
if
would
Congress
surprise you.
decides to.
Get it off the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
All right.
federal offense, even
Still.
though in states have legalized its use.
Yep. Okay, let's see. Other things going on. You hear about this every now and again. Mother's son currently in custody there in New Mexico. And they'll be coming back to Texas to face federal charges that employees at their massage parlor were offering illicit commercial sex. And I hate to sound racist, but I'm going to. And when these events come up, the perpetrators always seem to be Chinese. And I don't know why.
I don't know why either,
But it's a mother-son operation, which is even more bizarre.
right?
So they're both charged with conspiracy to use interstate travel in the aid of racketeering enterprises. Sound familiar, Bob? According to a criminal complaint,
Familiar, Bob.
according to the complaint, the woman owned at least 7 massage parlors where women engaged in commercial sex. Her son was operating the parlors when she wasn't around. She could check on the others, I guess. Investigators say at least 10 times between last summer and last month, undercover officers bought a massage and were then offered sex for an additional charge. After the women were arrested for prostitution at the parlors in Texas and New Mexico on several occasions, the mom, personally bailed them out of jail. With cash, I'm sure.
Right.
The massage parlors were in Lubbock, Texas, Wolf Fork, Texas, and then a couple of towns in New Mexico.
Those
It's a family business.
those are all over the place.
And
even locally.
it makes you wonder which ones are legit and which ones aren't.
I can kind of Being a person that works on the road and deals with small business, I've walked into a couple that were not legit.
Okay, you can tell right away
Right,
when you walk
because,
in.
this is my job.
Yeah.
And, you just see the people going in. And it's a kind of a telltale. Not that I know, at one point I was sitting in my car, getting myself together to go see these other businesses. And I, at this point, had already been into that one and did not go back in. And the clientele base
Is telling you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Sometimes I try to tell by the actual name.
The name,
of the business. Sometimes it's just off.
Yep, absolutely. The name, the look, the location is a number of factors involved. My daughter went to school for massage therapy, and she never followed through because that was a time when there was a big crackdown right here in Rhode Island on massage parlors. And she was like, oh, no, I can't do this. Because she was legit going to school.
Yep.
She wanted to then move on to therapy side of it. And she was like, yeah, I can't do this. It was that bad.
I saw it in my town once. It was across the street from where I got my hair cut. And the barber there who owned the place, he goes, yeah, I've been calling the cops on that place. Because it was just weird because it just had like massage and that's all it said. And then there was a phone number that wasn't a local phone number. And from what I hear, it's not there anymore. The police showed up and said, we know what's going on. We can't prove it yet. Get out of town. And they packed up and left.
Yeah.
I don't know where they went, but they packed up and left. And then we had another one in town. I thought this one was pretty shady. Turns out it was like they were like Big Apple massage thing. I said that's an odd name, and they were legit and they're still in business.
Isn't that funny?
It is. It's just.
But the sad thing is, for those that are legit,
yeah,
it's often presumed that they're not. So now you have the customers making those advances.
Right. They're making the assumption.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's a place over here in North Smithfield. And it's called Deeply Needed with a K, and they won in our Best of the Blackstone Valley. But if you look at their website, it's right on the front, telling you it's legitimate. If you make anything suggestive of any kind, one, you're going to be asked to leave. Two, you're not going to get your money back. Three, we're calling the cops on you.
Yeah.
And so knock it off before you even start.
Don't even go there.
So okay, but it's weird that it's. You hear about like in New York City and other places, and it's always, and I can have you guys take a look at the names. They're very tough to pronounce, but you can tell that they're Chinese names, and it's just that's.
I would imagine
there's
other nationalities involved in the same kind of endeavor as well.
Well, you hear about it with sex trafficking and how they trick girls over in China to get out of their situation there. Oh, you're going to come to the U.S. and you're going to get good jobs, but when this is the good job they're getting, and not too crazy about the good job they now have. So it's an issue. So on a lighter note, there's a freshman, a high school freshman in North Dakota. They had their prom last weekend. So he decided to have a little fun, and he brought his date, which turned out to be Taylor Swift. Now, not the real Taylor Swift. His sister, as a joke, bought him a life-size cardboard cutout of Taylor Swift, so he brought the cutout with him to the prom.
There's a guy who's even more desperate than I was in high school. Good Lord.
So it looks like he had his picture taken with her, the professional photographer that they have there, and he danced with Taylor out on the dance floor. I'm sure other guys were dancing with the cardboard cutout.
Wouldn't his mother go with him instead? I mean, this guy can't get any dates. He takes a cardboard cutout.
Well, it's things are so different now, Bob. The amount of if you looked at the proms now, and the amount of people that go as a couple as dates, is in the minority now.
Yeah.
Now you just go.
It's groups. Or
you don't need
you
don't need a date anymore. And the only thing that the schools want to know, and I know because my daughter's going through this, is if you are bringing somebody from outside the school, there's rules.
Yeah.
They got to be 20 years or younger. It can't be over 21, and they got to have their name and address and their ID and all that to make sure they're legitimately who they say they are. But you could just you just rent the tux, or you get the dress, and you just go. So I think this is this kid's case. I'm just going, but I'm bringing my cardboard cutout because that'll be funny.
Okay.
And they said they had a good time at the prom, and it added, having Taylor there just added to the fun.
I just remember the anxiety of hoping that there'd be a girl in the class who'd say, "Yeah, Bob,
Yes.
you will go."
I
with
know.
you."
Those days are over.
Yeah. Fortunately, there was.
You're born at the wrong time.
Darn.
Right?
All right, that'll do it for the show for today. Thank you very much for listening in. We hope you enjoyed it. Sue Tessier McKenzie, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me. Have a great week and happy Easter, everyone.
All right, Bob Lauder, thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you next week.
All right, have a great day. Stay tuned for Senior Scene. It's next, and then it's Do You Remember with Gary Smith of the crew at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. 2 former officials at the Holyoke Soldiers' Home you'd heard about during the pandemic have ultimately avoided prison. Following the COVID-related deaths of 76 veterans in 2020, Bennett Walsh, the former superintendent, and David Clinton, the former medical director, faced criminal neglect charges. Tuesday, they changed their not guilty pleas and admitted to the state that they had enough evidence to warrant a guilty verdict.